In these interviews, I ask each participant a series of questions pertaining to the racial bias inside our criminal justice system and how it affects America, as we explore potential solutions to these problems.
You hate someone for their skin color or their culture?
Discrimination of one's like culture or like race to like their skin color.
Is like prejudice against a certain race, or you believing that your race is better than someone else's race or their culture.
I guess would be mass discrimination amongst a single race.
Is when you just show hatred to someone of a different race than you. It's just particularly mostly whites on people of color, but that can obviously go either way around. And just hate, distaste, all that stuff. Unfair treatment.
Yeah, I do believe so. Only because of the Black Lives Matter movement and all those other cultural movements that still stand today.
Yeah, like you can see like Meek Mill's an example where like different like regions have different like judges who might have different backgrounds, like racial like backgrounds, might be racist, stuff like that. So definitely.
Yeah, generally speaking, black people in the African American community generally get worse punishments than I would say other races, based on what I know, what I've read, and what I've seen. So I do believe there is mass racism amongst black people in this community.
I think so. I mean, I've seen a lot of these like police body cam videos of them just, being totally unjust. And they always just have this mass stereotype. It's like, there's always, all my like people of color friends will always tell me, it's like, oh, when they get pulled over, it's a lot more sus than if you're like white like me and then getting pulled over, because they just they have this culture where they like expect you to have something on you or be worse, and it's just not chill.
Yes, I do, and I don't know a lot, but from what I see on the news and like read in articles, it seems like black males get convicted of crimes like way more than white males do, even though it's the same crime. Or like black teens get like arrested by the cops when they're not even really involved in a crime.
Well, I think it's all circumstantial, but there's definitely been like a history of black criminals being like charged with heavier sentences. I feel like that goes back to like judges or like different regions having different procedures, but definitely needs to change. I don't know how it would change, but I think there does need to be a change in how people are sentenced, especially like smaller crimes like that. Like,
No, I think crime and justice should be same through in and throughout for every race, every person. So I feel like it's not good that black people are getting worse punishments for doing the same crimes as, let's say, a white person would.
I know a big problem right now is exactly that. It's a lot of people of color, just minorities in general, going to prison and then filling it up because, not all of them, it's not like all murders. It's a lot of just like maybe even traffic laws or like drug possession and stuff like that. And if it's non-violence, I mean, to an extent, if it's like pretty minimal, then it shouldn't be. Just because, there's bigger fish to fry.
I believe that everyone should be convicted for the same crime. Same crime, the same as a white man, a black man, an Asian man, or an Indian man. Same crime, just have the same penalties, no matter what person you are.
They should be prosecuted under the same consequences that anyone else of any other race would be treated if they committed the same crime. So it should all be equal.
Yeah, rehabilitation will, I guess, lead them into the real world again in a better state than, let's just say, corporal punishment through the normal jail system, the prison system. As when they come out, they can't get a job, things like that. And rehabilitation will, I guess, better that process and wouldn't impair them as much as, I guess, prison time would.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big believer in second chances. I mean, if they mess up again, then there's only so much that you can do for one person before it's not on you, it's on them. But I mean, give them a second chance, especially if it's non-violent. You know, maybe they'll change their ways, but you won't know till you know.
Definitely, like you see, like jails are already overflowed, and like governments are trying to get like jails privatized. So like rather than move that direction, like having like, people like get on the right track is definitely a better option. It's just a matter of getting started.
Yes, because rehabilitation gives them the opportunity to try again, or like find jobs, or like find purpose. And obviously they're not like awful people if they didn't commit like a violent crime, so they deserve another opportunity.
Yes.
Why?
Because our prison system today is being overfilled, and people who have been convicted of less violent crimes such as murder or manslaughter are going through the same conviction as people who are of just drug use. So I believe there should be a helping hand rather than just a slap to the wrist.
I mean, I feel like I almost want to say I'm kind of neutral, but like I got this gut feeling that it isn't heading in the right direction, or at the very least, this is pretty stagnant. You know, there's just so much stuff that we like. Literally, I got an email probably like 2 days ago saying that like people were destroying the Black Resource Center, the BRC, and it's just like, you know, obviously people are always going to be racist. They're going to be racist to any race, but you know, even at least in America, it's just all these minorities is going to keep getting prosecuted, and you know, maybe it won't end. You know, racism is never going to end, but there's definitely steps we can do to prevent it, because racism is an unfair bias, you know. And I think we just need to like look at things from an outside perspective, you know, not include any racial biases in it if you have it. Like I know they asked that during jury, and I know even some people are like, oh, that's like a quick way to get out of jury duties, to say like, oh, on the low, I have some slight racial discrimination, so if it's a minority, then I'm probably not the best case for this job. And it's like, if that's true, then like, you know, whatever, that kind of sucks, but whatever. But you just got to get rid of the bias and really got to start realizing who you're putting into jail, because like I said, there's bigger fish to fry.
I think it's yes and no. Yes, because like, for example, we had an African-American president for 2 terms, so that's, like, a step in the right direction. But also, like, the Black Lives Matter movement is, like, still going on because young people or, like, even older African-American people are still treated, like, with disrespect from the government or police today. So I think it's yes and no.
To be honest, I don't think we're making any progress. I think we're just doing the same thing we've been doing.
So vote Eric Swalwell 2020.
Yeah, I guess. So I think we should start making progress in our prison systems and start focusing on the wrongs and the rights, what we can do to improve.
Do you have any suggestions of what we should do?
I think all the drug violations should be taken a little less serious as far as jail time. I think that should be more rehabilitation. And I believe that our prison should be given maybe a second chance rather than be put in jail for 50 to 80 years, which seems like a lifetime.
Not too sure. I mean, right now you see a lot of like headlines of like white people getting like certain like less time for similar crimes that black people have done the same crimes and they're getting more time. So I haven't really seen too many examples of us moving in the right direction, but I feel like we definitely need to. And as far as what those steps are, I'm not too sure. But
I think we're still in like a standstill because our prison system today isn't the best, and it still does have various aspects of mass racism in it, because black people still do get charged with the same crimes as other races, yet they still get worse punishments. And I'm not sure of the solutions to provide to fix it, but I feel like justice in general should be one, and all punishments should be at the same level rather than, let's say, based on race or based on what type of person they are. I feel like justice should be the same through and throughout, no matter anything else.